Welcome to the Inspiring Tech Leaders podcast with me, Dave Roberts. Today I'm exploring two massive developments in the artificial landscape that could fundamentally reshape the technology industry as we know it. In recent weeks, we have witnessed Elon Musk making bold strategic moves that position him as a major player in the AI race. His company, xAI, joined a powerhouse consortium backed by Microsoft, BlackRock and others, aiming to dramatically expand AI infrastructure across the United States. This partnership, known as the AI Infrastructure Partnership, or AIP, represents one of the largest private sector efforts to bankroll the data centers and energy facilities needed to power advanced AI applications. Then, just days later, xAI officially acquired X, the social media platform formerly known as Twitter, in a deal that values the combined companies at a staggering $113 billion. This merger marks another chapter in Musk's ambitious plans to integrate artificial intelligence, data, and social media into a unified ecosystem. In today's episode, I'll break down what these developments mean for the AI industry and the staggering amounts of capital being mobilized, and why Musk's strategic positioning might reshape the competitive landscape in artificial intelligence. We'll explore not just the business implications, but also the technical realities behind these moves and what they may tell us about the future of AI. So let's dive into the details of Elon Musk's expanding AI empire and what it means for tech leaders everywhere. The first major development is the formation of the AI Infrastructure Partnership and what it means for the future of artificial intelligence. This consortium represents an unprecedented collaboration between some of the biggest names in tech and finance. On the 19th of March, a consortium originally formed last year with a goal of investing more than $30 billion in AI-related projects announced two new major players, these being Nvidia, the company whose chips power most of today's AI revolution, and xAI, Elon Musk's artificial intelligence startup. This partnership represents one of the biggest private sector efforts to bankroll the data centers and energy facilities needed to power advanced AI applications like ChatGPT, Copilot, Gemini, and other large language models. BlackRock CEO Larry Fink emphasized the significance of this collaboration, stating, "We believe this unparalleled partnership of leading global companies across the AI ecosystem brings technology expertise together with private capital to meet this demand." But what makes this announcement particularly noteworthy is the scale of investment being discussed. While the initial goal was to raise $30 billion, the consortium is now aiming to mobilize up to $100 billion, including debt financing. That's a staggering amount of capital dedicated specifically to building physical infrastructure that will power the next generation of AI. To understand why this investment is necessary, we need to talk about the enormous computational demands of modern AI systems. Jensen Huang, the founder and CEO of Nvidia, put succinctly in the announcement, "The global build-out of AI infrastructure will benefit every company and country that wants to achieve economic growth and unlock solutions to the world's greatest challenges." Just a day before this announcement at Nvidia's developer conference, Huang explained that AI is going through an inflection point. The shift from traditional large language models to what he calls agentic and reasoning AI systems requires exponentially more computing power. But what is the technical reality? Well, traditional large language models need significant but manageable computing resources. They can answer queries immediately, but the next generation of AI systems that can reason through problems require vastly more computational power because they essentially think before responding, going backward and forth through multiple reasoning steps. As Wang explained, in order for us to keep the model responsive so that we don't lose our patience waiting for it to think, we now have to compute 10 times faster. The amount of computation we have to do is 100 times more. This is not just about faster computers. It is about a fundamental transformation in our digital infrastructure. The International Energy Agency estimates that the global electricity consumption by data centers could surpass 1,000 terawatt-hours by 2026, which is more than twice the amount used in 2022. So who exactly is involved in this massive infrastructure push? We have the founding members including BlackRock, the world's largest asset manager, Microsoft, which has become OpenAI's primary backer and is integrating AI across its product line, Global Infrastructure Partners, which is now owned by BlackRock and MGX, an Abu Dhabi-based AI investment group. Now joining them are Nvidia, which was already serving as a technical advisor but is now becoming a full partner, and xAI, Elon Musk's AI startup that is positioning itself as a challenger to companies like OpenAI. What is particularly interesting about xAI's involvement is the scale of their ambitions. According to reports, Musk's startup already has plans to deploy more than 1 million graphic processing units, the specialized chips needed to train cutting-edge AI models. The company currently operates a cluster of more than 100,000 Nvidia GPUs. This consortium is not operating in a vacuum. In January saw announcement of Stargate, another private sector AI infrastructure initiative backed by SoftBank Group, OpenAI and Oracle. That project has even more ambitious funding goals with plans to mobilize up to $500 billion, with investors already committing $100 billion for immediate deployment and the rest expected over the next few years. These massive investments reflect the new reality where AI infrastructure has become a strategic priority not just for the tech companies, but for nations. The United States is clearly positioning itself to maintain leadership in this space, with President Donald Trump announcing support for the Stargate initiative. Microsoft alone has pledged to spend roughly $80 billion in the current fiscal year to build data center infrastructure necessary to train AI models and deploy applications. That is a single company committing capital expenditure that exceeds the GDP of many countries. But why does this matter beyond the tech industry? Well, there is an energy question. The computing power required for AI necessitates far more energy than previous technological innovations and has already begun straining existing energy infrastructure. And then there is the question of who will control the infrastructure that powers AI. By forming these consortiums, companies are creating the digital critical infrastructure needed to run AI. Whoever builds and controls this infrastructure will have significant influence over how AI develops and who benefits from it. There is also the global competition angle, especially with similar infrastructure build-outs happening in China. The race to build AI infrastructure is also the race for the economic advantage that it brings. So what does that mean for the future of AI? We're likely to see an acceleration in AI capabilities as far more computing power becomes available. Jensen Huang of Nvidia referred to these new facilities as AI factories that will convert data into intelligence, that will accelerate every industry and help society achieve unimaginable breakthroughs. We also may see a widening gap between organizations that have access to infrastructure and those that don't. These infrastructure investments could further concentrate AI power in the hands of a few key players. Unfortunately, there is a massive associated environmental impact of AI, with data centers potentially consuming twice as much electricity by 2026. Questions about sustainability and carbon footprint will become increasingly important. Finally, these investments signal that major players in the tech industry believe that AI is not just a passing trend, but a fundamental transformation of computing that will require decades of sustained investment. While this massive investment in AI infrastructure is reshaping the foundation of the industry, Elon Musk was not content with just being a partner in the AI infrastructure partnership. In a parallel and equally significant move, he has been consolidating his own AI empire through another bold strategy, with xAI officially acquiring X, the social media platform formerly known as Twitter, in a deal that now values the combined companies at a staggering $113 billion. This merger marks another chapter in Musk's ambitious plans to integrate artificial intelligence, data, and social media into a unified ecosystem. Is it a strategic masterstroke, a financial maneuver, or just something else entirely? Musk himself states that xAI and X's future are intertwined and has taken the step to combine the data, models, compute, distribution, and talent. While no official comments were made by X or xAI spokespeople, analysts suggest this move could be a way to protect investors, consolidate Musk's control, and streamline AI development. This merger makes sense when you look at Musk's broader ambitions. xAI has already been using X's data to train its models, particularly its chatbot, which is a built-in feature on X. Now, with direct ownership, xAI has unrestricted access to real-time global conversations, images, and trends to refine its AI. AI requires massive computing power, and Musk has been investing in supercomputing infrastructure. xAI's Memphis-based Colossus supercomputer is expected to play a key role in advancing AI capabilities. Musk took on billions in debt to acquire Twitter, and this deal may help to restructure finances in a way that benefits both X's and xAI's investors. The AI race is also heating up. OpenAI, backed by Microsoft, is raising a massive $40 billion. By merging xAI and X, Musk positions himself to compete at the highest levels of AI innovation. This acquisition also ties into Musk's ongoing legal battle with OpenAI, the company he co-founded in 2015. Musk sued OpenAI and CEO Sam Altman, arguing that the company strayed from its non-profit mission and became too profit-driven. Earlier this year, Musk and a consortium made an unsolicited $97.4 billion bid to acquire OpenAI, which Altman rejected outright. Meanwhile, OpenAI continues to grow, finalizing a $40 billion investment from SoftBank. It's clear Musk wants to challenge OpenAI's dominance. With X fully integrated into xAI, he now controls a major platform to deploy and test AI at scale. The question is, can xAI truly compete with OpenAI and DeepMind? Beyond AI, Musk is playing a bigger role in politics. As the head of the newly created Department of Government Efficiency, or DOGE as it's referred to, he is leading cost-cutting efforts in the Trump administration. He is also pouring millions into key elections, including the Wisconsin Supreme Court race. At the same time, financial maneuvers behind the X acquisition are coming under scrutiny. A US judge recently rejected Musk's attempt to dismiss a lawsuit claiming he defrauded Twitter shareholders by delaying the disclosure of his investment in the company. And let's not forget the massive debt Musk took on to buy Twitter. Banks held on to the $13 billion in loans for 2 years before finally selling them to investors. Now, with AI investments surging, those investors could profit, especially if xAI proves to be a dominant force in AI. So where does this leave us? Musk is consolidating power with AI, social media, and computing resources are now under one roof. However, regulators may step in, questioning competition, investor fairness, and data privacy concerns. But the AI race is more competitive than ever, with OpenAI, Google, Microsoft, and now xAI battling for dominance. Musk's move are bold, controversial, and game-changing. Whether this deal cements his AI legacy or leads to more legal and financial challenges remains to be seen. Before we wrap up today's episode, let's consider some critical questions that remain unanswered about these developments in the AI landscape. How will these massive infrastructure investments be regulated? As AI becomes increasingly critical infrastructure, governments may need to step in with new regulatory frameworks. Will these consortiums be able to build infrastructure fast enough to meet the growing demand for AI computing? Current projections suggest we're heading for significant bottlenecks in both computing and capacity for energy availability. How will smaller companies and researchers access this infrastructure? Will these consortiums offer cloud-like services, or will they primarily serve their own AI development needs? And perhaps most importantly, how will the benefits of these investments be distributed? Will they primarily enrich the companies involved, or will they lead to broader economic and social benefits? Looking at these recent strategic moves specifically, we have to ask if the combination of xAI and X creates a true competition to OpenAI and Google, or is Musk spreading himself too thin across too many ventures? The AI race is accelerating at breathtaking pace with unprecedented amounts of capital being deployed. Musk's bold move to position himself at the center of this revolution through the AI Infrastructure Partnership and the xAI-X merger demonstrate just how high the stakes have become. Whether these strategies pay off remains to be seen, but one thing is certain: the battle for AI dominance is reshaping the tech landscape in ways that will impact all of us, from how we interact with technology to the very infrastructure that powers our digital world. That's all for today's episode. What are your thoughts on Elon Musk's AI strategy? Can xAI compete with established players like OpenAI? And what about the environmental impact of all this AI infrastructure? If you've enjoyed this episode of the Inspiring Tech Leaders, don't forget to subscribe and leave a review. Thanks again for listening, and until next time, stay curious, stay connected, and keep pushing the boundaries of what's possible in tech.